everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on the meditation channel. Hi, how are ya? Welcome if you're new, and if you're returning, good to see you again. Thanks for showing up. So, guys, 2025. Let's have a chat about 2025, the energies. I am also going to pull some cards today just to get some downloads about what's going on for this year. So stay tuned because it's going to be very interesting. And on top of everything else, I want to talk about the year of the snake. So for those of you who don't know, 2025 is the year of the snake. And if you take a minute to look back in history, the year of the snake tend to be intense years. So I believe the last one was in 2001 when it was 9/11. So what does the snake represent? The snake represents a lot of things. If you look back in history, we've had a lot of symbols when it comes to the snake. Think about the Bible, temptation. The snake also symbolizes the shedding, right? The shedding of the old, shedding of the skin. And essentially what I've been getting this year, the reason why it's been so intense for everybody is because a lot of us are literally shedding layers. We're transforming. We're becoming more authentic, to be quite honest. We're shedding all of the things that no longer serve us. We don't have time. Time is speeding up for some reason. Things are changing. The energies are changing. So we need to catch up with that. And oftentimes we think about shedding as something like, oh, okay, yeah, just gotta let go, right? No. When it comes to shedding, oftentimes what I've been receiving very strongly, the download on this, is about all of those blocks, all of those subconscious lessons, all of those patterns that have been sitting in the subconscious that need to come to the surface and be healed in order for you to move forward. This is why a lot of you have been experiencing one bad thing after the other, or if you like to replace bad with lessons. It's been incredibly intense, and there's a lot of light workers as well that I believe have been hit really hard. And the reason for that is because you, more than anybody else, need to evolve faster. And so what happens is the lessons are coming one after the other so that we can shed those layers, so that we can reprogram the subconscious mind, so that we can finally empower ourselves to align with the version of us that needs to step forward. So that is what I've been receiving thus far. So if you've been having a really hard time, just so you know, it is something that is actually happening to many of us. And for those of you who are not, I am sure you're feeling the energy, the heaviness, and the suffering of those that you love. So that's just something that I wanted to bring up about this year. So be ready, be prepared. And essentially the only thing that we can do is allow ourselves to go through it. I do not suggest that you run away. I do not suggest that you go back to old coping mechanisms. This is a time really to face things head on, no matter how powerful or scary they are. And if you look at an example of the LA fires, so many people have literally lost everything, had to start from scratch. They've been stripped completely of everything that they own, essentially leaving them with themselves completely. So you can imagine the intensity of that lesson. And I want you out there, if this is you, I want you to know that this is not a punishment and this is not your fault. Okay. This is just, unfortunately, where you were at the time, and somehow all of this aligned in such a way that it just so happened to be you. But I don't want you to feel like I could have prevented it or I could have foreseen it. You know, in the spiritual community, we oftentimes think that we can foresee these things sometimes. And yeah, for some of us, but bad things happen in this world. And it's really about how we process and how we get back up. Now, I wanted to get the cards, my new deck of cards from Readily Valentine. Love him. So today we're going to basically ask for 3 cards, and we're going to get some messages for the year 2025. This is for all of you who are watching. And let's see what the messages are. Let's see what comes up, and let's see what the downloads are. So just give me 1 second. All right, guys. So I've gotten 3 cards. The 10 of water, the 9 of earth, and the 4 of earth. So I'm going to read these cards out, and then I'm going to tell you what I see. A contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. Enjoy life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So essentially here, what I'm hearing is that a lot of you are going to be dealing with a lot of your past. Like I mentioned, this is a lot of stuff to do with childhood. A lot of, the water sign is usually to do with emotions, right? So what I'm hearing is the depths of the past. So oftentimes this is connected to family. It's connected to childhood. So this is the time to heal and repair those past traumas that you've been avoiding for quite some time. Maybe it has something to do with a parent. Maybe this is an inner child wounding that you've been avoiding, that you need to start addressing. But essentially the whole aim of this is really to bring about peace, resolution, answers, and unity for a lot of families. This is going to be not an easy process, but it is inevitably about unity, about bringing the unit back together. And the other thing that I'm really getting through these messages, that even though everything has been stripped and even though you guys are left with very little, many of you, somehow your needs are still being met. Somehow there is someone or something that shows up to remind you of the power that you have when it comes to manifesting basic needs. Self-employment came up as well. So what I got here essentially is that a lot of us are really rethinking our lives on a whole other level. And when I'm thinking about self-employment, it really comes down to career or my life path or who I am or what I want to do and what I want to be. So there's a lot of life reviews happening for a lot of you. So in the sense of, maybe some of you have been working for a business for a long time, and because of these events that are happening, there's a sense in a way that life is short, that we don't really have time to waste. And if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it. And it doesn't matter what age you are. There are certain things there's this calling within you, this need to pursue something. There's this desires that are coming to the surface, also, the shedding of the skin and revealing your true authenticity that are coming to the surface. And so there's essentially a calling happening for a lot of you. A calling to be authentic, a calling to following your dreams and pursuing your passions and really taking a leap of faith and a risk. And this does not mean it's going to be easy, but essentially it's going to be worth it. So this is really coming up strongly. And being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So a couple of things are coming up with this card. One of those is I'm getting that now a lot of people are stepping up to be generous. A lot of people are finding themselves in a position where they can really truly help others. And a lot of people who have the opportunity to really help and be there for others are not stepping up. So what I'm hearing is that the shadow and the light are really being amplified right now. So those who can really help, it's going to reveal essentially tragedies oftentimes, or struggle or dark times really reveal the characters of people. The people around you, your friends, your family, those so-called friends. And this is something that I have personally experienced even in my past. People that you think are your friends and then you hit rock bottom and they all just disappear, right? Or, at a time where you really need, and then the one person that you didn't think really cared about you really showed up for you and really gave you something that you really needed, and they did it purely out of the kindness of their heart without expecting anything back. So what I'm hearing here right now is that a lot of this is coming up for a lot of people. You're starting to see people's true colors, true nature, who they really are. And this could obviously change a lot of the dynamics within your friend circle, within who you want to hang out. I personally have noticed this within myself, that I have started to change my relationships because I am starting to finally prioritize myself. And I'm not seeking that validation so much from the outside. I'm looking at for the inside. We do need people though, guys. We are a social creature. We do need one another. So it's very important to understand that. But at the same time, at what expense? So get to know yourself really well, because once you know yourself, you know your boundaries, you know your desires, and you know what you will and won't put up with. And so you will know who you will and won't match with. So again, I'm seeing changes in relationships because of those reasons. The other thing that is happening, a lot of people also financially are changing. There's a lot of shift in finances this year. So some of you who have been struggling may finally find, I'm seeing a little fluff, may finally find your business finally taking up. And a lot of you who have been having a lot of success, you're actually going to be encountering some challenge. Now, this is, of course, a general reading. This is not for everyone. But these are the themes and the topics and the energies that I'm seeing that are coming up to the surface. And so ultimately, the theme that I'm hearing here is like emotions and growth and change is really what's happening this year. Okay, so guys, let me know if this is something that resonates with you, and that if you feel is in alignment with who you are, and if this is something that your subconscious is saying, hey, pay attention to the messages here. I just decided to start the camera and start doing these videos where I just talk to you from an inspired place, taking inspired action. And I'm very curious to see where these go. As always, guys, if you like my content and you love my meditations and you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to do that. It really helps me and the channel. And if you would like to know anything more about me, my courses, or anything else that I provide, link below. Check it out. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sharing this space with me today. I hope you have a magical day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.